Found on the High Seas, a serialized gay romance taking place aboard the Caribbean ocean liner, the Majestic Sun. Follow along as I take everyone on a Caribbean adventure with humor, love, and of course, destruction. Penned by Rylie Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Episode 5, Dead in the Water. As Rylie and Britain made their way through the empty ship, that was in fact empty. Besides there being no passengers, there were no chairs, tables, decor. Most of the rug that lined the hallways and the stairs had been ripped up and laid rolled up in piles on the landings. The shopping gallery, the Sunshine Bar, Yacht Club Restaurant, Children's Center, Sports Bar, the Broadway showroom, even the Windjammer Lounge, all silent and empty. Only a few pieces of furniture and fixtures remained. "Steady as she goes," Captain Schmidt commanded, as Rylie and Britain stepped on the bridge. There were only 2 other crewmen with them. "Ah, my other 2 guests have finally arrived," Schmidt said as he sat in his chair. "Yes, Captain. Rylie, and this is Britain." Yes, that's nice. Your suit is down in the engine room, poking around, I hear, and bothering the crew." "We have not met yet. We can make our way down there and check in with him," Britain suggested, which might help him get out of the engine room and leave the crew alone. "You do that, Mr. St. James, and keep him off my bridge," Schmidt snapped back. Well, that was that. And off the bridge and now make their way to the engine room. Well, try anyways, as the sea was getting rough and the waves were getting higher. It also didn't help that the rain was starting to come down pretty hard. The ship rocked up and down, side to side, as both Rylie and Britain made their way down into the belly of the ship. You would think both were drunk, leaving the Hemingway bar that they passed, as they both held on to each other. The bottom deck ran the length of the ship from bow to the middle of the stern, where the engine room housed her 2 sets of double reduction Fairfield turbines. These massive engines combined had an output of 27,000 shp, which spun her massive twin screws, giving her a maximum of 21 knots. That's roughly 24 miles per hour. The comfort of up top was no longer visible, as you definitely could tell you were in the bottom of a ship, when all you see is bulkheads, beams, and pipes running in all directions. Opening the heavy metal door, Britain and Rylie walked into the enclosed engine room. 2 crewmen stood in front of the controls. The panels were in front of massive windows, which blocked the loud noise of not only the turbines, but the pistons themselves. On the other side of the glass stood another crewman and the suit, who was pointing to one of the turbines, while the crewman shook his head no, both wearing what looked like noise-canceling headphones. "I wonder what that's all about," Britain asked Rylie. "I don't know, yet it looks like we're about to find out," Rylie responded, as both could see them coming towards the door. As soon as the rep opened the door, both could hear the massive noise from the engine. "You told me that would be up and running, or did you simply lie?" the suit asked, as he pointed at the crewman who was removing his headpiece. "Sir, it's just the 3 of us running this massive ship. We will be ready very soon," the crewman answered. "I want this ship to beat whatever storm is coming and be able to dock ahead of schedule. I promised results. Now get that engine up and running," the suit demanded, as the crewman looked past at the 2 of them, who were just standing there listening. The suit noticed the crewman's eyes go past him and turned around. "Who are you?" "I'm Britain, and this is Rylie. We are from the Sun." Britain explained further the orders that were given to them. "Oh, God, more crewmen. Please tell me you're not as dumb as the rest. Seems like no one does their job around here. or they're liars, the suit stated, which of course struck a nerve with Rylie. I'm sorry, did you just insult my friend? Rylie asked as he stepped forward and in front of Britain. This, of course, grabbed the attention of the other three in the room who just stood there watching this heated exchange unfold. Mouth open, but no words were coming out. Right, that's what I thought. Rylie Tudor, he extended his hand, the suit taking it cautiously. Remington, Michael, head of acquisitions for Majestic Cruises. Well, Mr. Remington, welcome aboard the Topaz. Britain and I are here if you need anything during the sailing, like Britain already told you. Now, let's say that we get out of the crew's way and go up top. Rylie finished with him moving out of the way, allowing Michael to go first. How dare you, sir? I am a representative of the company who employs you and your boyfriend here, so I highly suggest you stay out of my way. Mr. Remington, you may work for the company. However, you are not a member of the ship's crew. Therefore, I must insist you refrain from entering restricted areas meant only for the crew. If the captain requires your presence, then we'll send for you. Britain clapped back. Somebody was quoting the rulebook. In a huff, Michael stormed out of the engine room, and hopefully would go back to his room and pout. The engine room crew were grateful, and a nod and thanks was given before they too turned and walked out, making their way up the deck. It's a shame they gutted this thing already. Would have been cool to have a ship all to ourselves. They even took the slot machines out, Rylie said as both ascended the service stairs, which had access points to almost every deck. We can still roam a little. It would be nice to see what's left of the main dining room, Rylie said as he read the signs on the wall, telling the crew where they were and what was on the deck. Came in handy when it's not your ship. Well, looks like we're on the right deck. This is also where the shopping center is, Britain said, sounding exciting, as if he thought he was really going shopping. There would be no shopping, as all the stores were empty. Display cases with nothing in them, racks with no tacky Caribbean t-shirts for sale, the jewelry store, bookstore, smoke shop, and finally, rounding the corner, gift store. No candy, drinks, or even coffee. Yet something grabbed Rylie's attention. What do you see? Britain asked as he watched Rylie step into the shop and walk over to a metal round wire rack. It had been knocked over, most likely due to the waves. Waves that crashed into the ship as soon as Rylie bent down to pick up whatever it was off the rack, causing him to lose his balance and fall, landing on the rack. Are you all right? Britain asked as he hurried over to help Rylie up. Yes, I'm fine. Look, a booklet about the ship. That's what you went after? Come on, let's see if this dining room is open, and before we get knocked over again, Britain said as he noticed his hand was still in Rylie's. Both looking at each other, just simply let go. However, it felt like forever, as neither wanted to let go. From the gift shop, they would need to take the main staircase down one deck, which would then bring them to the main dining room. The main dining room was the place to dine while on the ship. Yes, the Topaz housed lounges and other restaurants, but if you wanted to be seen and enjoy real delicious chef-inspired cuisine, then the main dining room was the place for you. The dining room was located in a unique spot on the ship. Unlike your typical ship layout, with the dining rooms more towards the top deck, it was only 2 decks up from the bottom, and slightly in the middle. Opening the wooden swinging doors, they were met with stacked chairs and a few round tables that looked bolted down. The fancy white tablecloths were gone, along with the best china and silverware that would have been on the tables. Looking around, the room seemed dirty and dingy. Once white and shiny tiled floor was black with dirt and dust. The walls bare, only with the markings of framed pictures and paintings that would have depicted various seascapes, no doubt. The only decor that had been untouched was the glass chandelier that hung in the middle of the room. Hitting the light switch and the wall sconces illuminated everything. The sea at this point was getting worse, as anything not bolted to the floor was being thrown around. More rocking and pitching. As they both made their way into the dining room, both had received an alert on their phones. Every employee is to download the Majestic Employee Portal app on their cell phones in case any communication comes up or emergency. Since the earthquake, Majestic is constantly sending updates. Britain held on to Rylie as he fetched his cell phone out of his back pocket. The message was from Majestic, and it was of high importance. It says rogue wave warning. Rogue wave? What does that mean exactly? Britain looking at Rylie, who knew exactly what it meant. Have you ever seen the Poseidon Adventure? Rylie asked while taking Britain's hand, leading them out of the dining room. Whoa, wait a minute. Stop for a second, Britain said as Rylie stopped and looked at him. We need to go back to our room and gather some things. I'm sure the captain is handling it. Handling it? Well, I would hope so, as it did not turn out well in the movie. We'll be fine. After we get back to the room, we can go up and see if the captain needs anything, Rylie said as they had finally made it down to their deck. As Rylie went to open the door, the ship seemed to stop humming. The sound of the raging storm outside could be heard as both made sure to grab whatever they needed before they head to the bridge. Rylie and Britain would not get very far before the ship's general alarm was sounded, alerting everyone on board that there was an emergency.